Yo, what is up, folks? TCG here with a bit of a different take on Elves. I've kind of been advocating a little bit for the Abzan version of the deck. I put a deck set together with that. Kind of when Explorer Anthology 2 came out. However, the other way to go, that is also new for the Elf deck, is to build around Nykthos. Obviously, you have a bunch of double green spells with Circle of the Dream Druids. You can go triple green. If you want to play like Steel Leaf Champion, you can even add more there if you want to go more down like an aggro route or play really, really heavily into Devotion. But this is the other kind of like main way I see building the deck. And so, primarily in Explorer previously, your win condition was through activating Elvish Warmaster. And the way you do this is like obviously you can assemble the mana between elves and your lands, but your main way to do this has either been Circle of Dream Druid or powering up a Marwyn to tap for lots of mana. And now Nykthos gives you another way to get that Magic 7 number, and then obviously Explorer Anthology 2 also provided us with Shaman in the pack, which is like a huge addition to the Elf deck, and just lets you kill much faster in a lot of cases. And so here is my Nykthos, quote-unquote Nykthos Elves list. Let's get into it, have a look. So 4 Elvish Mystic, 4 Land or Elf, and then only 2 copies of Just Spirit Sentinel. We're kind of trimming a little down here to make some extra space up top. 4 Leaf Crown Visionary, 4 Elvish Clancaller, your Lords. Leaf Crown Visionary just lets you keep drawing cards. It's incredible versus control decks, or decks that want to try and kill all your things, like mid-range, like Black-Red. Clancaller isn't as powerful. Is like, you're rarely actually activating this ability nowadays. But hey, it's still there, it still buffs all your team. And then obviously Warmaster, which is like one of the best cards in the deck, lets you go wide, and then obviously has the pump ability attached. Dwynen's Elite, because Shaman we have now, going wide is much more successful, and again we've got more mana to activate Warmaster, so I actually quite like Dwynen's Elite in this version of the deck, where you're playing really into Nykthos, and you're really playing to activate Warmaster. The Kyler's reconstruction version of the deck that I've played with a bit before on the channel is really trying to find Shaman in the pack, and you're playing. That's where you're kind of playing for company, for reclamation, for company, for reconstruction, and just trying to find Shaman and put elves into play. And in that case, you don't really have space with Dwynen's Elite. Even though you're trying to kill the Shaman, you're putting so many elves into play in theory off of your kind of Coco and your reconstructions that you don't really need to worry about going wide with Elite. But in this case, I think it's worth playing. It also powers up Marwyn, and then also we have Circle of the Dream Druid. Marwyn, I should talk about a little bit more. Gets bigger when you play elves. These are your kind of like... So you have like 3 really strong plays on turn 2. Obviously, the ideal start, you have a Llanowar Elf, and then you're either going Warmaster plus another 1-drop, or you're going Marwyn or Circle of the Dreams Druid, and then you're basically preparing for next turn to have a ton of mana, and to prep to kill your opponent on turn 4, which is what you're already aiming for with Elves. And then, yeah, these cards both let you do that. Marwyn also presents a large threat by itself anyway, and can grow quite quickly out of the range of damage-based removal or sweepers, which is nice. Shaman in the pack, fairly obvious. New pickup from Explorer Anthology 2. ECB, target opponent loses life with the number of elves you control. Is especially good versus something like green, where you just want to kill them as fast as possible, but it also lets you clock other combo opponents quickly to race like faster combo. Something like Greasefang, you now have an alternative way to be like, alright, you've done your thing, we take 13, but then we untap and kill you. Either with like between elves attacking and Shaman of the pack to do damage for their life total, or what remains of their life total. Card's great, and then obviously company kind of holds everything together. Lets you find Shaman. Obviously, I don't know why I'm starting to talk about this card. The mana base is interesting. So for this video, I'm playing 3 copies of Nykthos Shrine to Nyx. However, as I've talked about before, you have a lot of green pips. You're wanting to have as many green sources as possible, so that you can multi-spell your 1-drops, or your double green spells, and obviously Circle of Dream Druids is triple green. So, for this video I'm playing 3 copies of Nykthos, so I'm really trying to show how good it is in the deck. However, I think I would actually recommend playing 2 copies of Nykthos, and maybe playing a second layer of the Hydra, for like general play. But for this particular video, I wanted to play 3, just to kind of increase the chance that we draw it. But yeah, so Nykthos, Overgrown Tomb, Llanowar Race, Double Pathway, Blooming Marsh. This is all fairly straightforward. A single Besage in the main. We have a second one on the board, I'll explain that in a minute. A single Forest, and then a lair. And as I say, hey, if you want to, like, play this on ladder, I recommend trimming a Nykthos just for you to be a little bit more consistent with mana sources and things. And you're still great. Like, you're not going to draw every time. Though I will also say that there are Elvish Reclaimer has been trialed before in Pioneer as a way to tutor for Nykthos. But even then, it's still like a little bit shaky. So I would probably play 2. You can also go the entire other way and play 3 and kind of throw caution to the wind. Obviously, you have the Elves to make you mana. You can play more land if you want to as well. But hey, yeah. So the sideboard. So one of the things with Elves is that traditionally, you've played like Scavenging Ooze, which can be a little slow versus something like Grease Fang. If you're playing it on turn 2 without a mana dork, and you have to kind of like leave mana open for it. And so for this version, we're playing black anyway, so we can actually cast them. But I'm just going like, hey, you know what? We're just going to play 4 copies of Leyline of the Void, deal with it that way. 3 copies of Sorry. I've goofed this up a little bit. There are 4 copies of Reclamation Sage. Let's do... Oh, I should have fixed this before. I'm sorry. There are 4 copies of What am I doing? Fix it. One. Hello. Okay. Well, the arena client is intuitive. Alright, okay, cool. There are 4 copies of Reclamation Sage and 1 Besagi. Obviously, like, Auras is resistant possibilities a fair bit, but that's actually not the main reason. I talked about this before. Temporary Lockdown is incredibly powerful versus you, and one of the main reasons to have the extra Besagi on the board, you're basically only boarding the Besagi in versus active Temporary Lockdown. There are also things like Fires, Enigmatic Incarnation, obviously, like anything with Leyline Binding, those are all very good there as well. And then versus like control decks, we have 2 copies of Shapeless Chantry to draw cards with the Tranquil creatures, and then 2 copies of Lead the Stampede to help you refill. I fed up a bit on sideboard cards for Elves, but this is where I am at the moment. And now we're gonna jump into some best of 3 ranked games. So let's get going. Play some. Whoop. Yeah, I think Elves is good. With Shame in the Pack, it's just a huge power boost. I'm not exactly sure where... I'm planning on doing at some point an Explorer tier list. I think this is coming out on the 23rd or 24th, so happy holidays, by the way. But hey, yeah. Oh, and if you're interested in like Explorer content and stuff, please do like and subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. Even if you're only here for that type of stuff, I'm going to play a few ranked games now, but hey, appreciate you either way. Yeah. I try and cover as many Explorer decks as possible. And if there's something that I've not made a video on, or you're like, I'd like to see more of this, let me know in the comments, please. And I'll do my best here. So we have a fairly fast hand in terms of how we're building onto the board, but in this instance particularly, we don't have an actual kind of like kill threat. The Leecran Visionary is interesting. The way our hand should play out in theory is we're going to go Elf here, Elvish Warmaster Elf, and that'll leave us with Leecran Visionary, and then Elf to cast a draw for this. We'll see how we draw. Okay, cool. We'll play out like we said we would do. They have, I think we're against Mono Green, but they have a fairly slow hand here. And this will make a token off the Warmaster. Great. Love to see it. The upset of having drawn like a ton of Elves, they have a really slow hand, but do they have a late mana guy? They do. It's 4, 5, 6. So I've got to expect they can Storm the Festival this turn. We can't activate. Excuse me. We're not going to be able to activate Warmaster this turn, but with all the mana guys, we will be able to next turn. And so, rather than draw all the cards of Visionary, I'm going to play it so that we can get some damage through here. This will make a guy with Warmaster as well, but I want to make sure I get all these Elves into play. And I only have 1, 2, 3 mana. Okay. They're aware that they're basically going to be dead to Warmaster next turn. So that's fair enough. Versus Mono Green. The Rack Sages, obviously Wolfwiller Haven, things coming off of Karn. There's a pile of stuff that is like relevant against, so you don't have a lot of interaction for the matchup in general, so it's worth bringing in. I'm not, I think, going to bring the Besagi in here. I'm kind of currently thinking about it. I am. It snipes Nykthos as well, which is actually huge. In terms of what I want to cut, so Hmm. In terms of like weak cards in the deck, because we actually need all our big mana things, because they don't have a way to interact with them, there are best paths to victory with War Master. The cards that are weak for us, Dwayne's Elite is possibly the worst card on the deck, that or Clan Caller. Clan Caller, despite being a Lord, doesn't actually contribute very much towards your like main game plans. I think what I'm going to do is trim the Elites and get rid of one Clan Caller. Actually, I kind of like a mix. If we play two of these and one of these, one of them finds the other one and this kind of works out. Sentinel's also not like... It's not what you want, but it's kind of necessary. Let's roll with this. Sorry if my voice is a little weird, I'm a bit under the weather. Alright. They had a very slow mono green hand there, so don't necessarily take that as representative. Oh, we'll just crush them. They don't have a lot of interaction, but on the play, especially if they have Khan, they can go grab like Khan Silex, potentially something like Ratchet Bomb. There are a couple of other like cards that are potentially problematic. That, and then once they've actually deployed a bunch of stuff onto the board, it's actually hard for you to break through. But that's where Shaman in the Pack comes in and can help you kind of win those matches. Speaking of Shaman in the Pack, this looks very, very solid. We have a ton to kind of huge, like one of our big mana accelerants. And it's going to be hard for them to interact that early in the game with it. It looks like they have a fairly fast start themselves. They went down to 6. Okay. The Rex Sage might also come in handy. If they have like a weird hand where they have like land Wolfwiller Haven here, we might just slam the Rex Sage. Okay. That's the stuff. This is where I wish we had like Hunt the Hunter in the format. We could play that. Hunt the Hunter is one of my favorites. I used to play a bunch of Infect. Call me degenerate if you want. We don't have a way to kind of kill these off. But Hunt the Hunter was +2/+2 to creature you control if it's green, and then it fights a green creature your opponent controls. Or something like Uvenwald Tracker, which obviously we don't have. Even in Pioneer we don't have Uvenwald Tracker. But you could in theory play like Hunt the Hunter if you wanted to. You'd occasionally like crop up to fight like Noble Hierarchs and that kind of thing. I used to play a ton of Infect in Modern. And a Legacy for a bit as well, to be fair. Kiora. Okay. Alright, I'm tapping out. So we want to basically try and put as much onto the board as possible here. They have very, very little mana. They're not unlikely to be able to put much mana into play next turn. But they're going up to 4, like they can make some things happen. If we give them too much time. With that in mind, we'll start off with a War Master. And then I'm trying to work out if we want to... 1/5. Yeah, I think I don't want to... We're not worried about drawing cards off the Crown Visionary in this matchup. Oh, this is weird, isn't it? 1, 3, 4, 5. No, that doesn't make the mana I want it to. That's right. I'm thinking kind of weird here. Alright. Now put them on 14, and then we're threatening to activate War Master next turn with all these elves. It should be lethal. They have a land which gives them up to 5 mana. They can make like a Cavalier here, but they know that. There you go. Hey. Downside of mono green, they don't have tons of interaction, and hey, especially with Shaman that you have now to break through the kind of board stalls, and kind of hey, you should define a Shaman, and to kill you quickly. Matchup becomes a lot better. We still don't have like Chord of Calling, which would be really, really nice to have, obviously. But I don't know if we're going to get that anytime soon. Alright, let's hop into another ranked game. I'll play this one, and we'll see how long it takes. If it's a short game, then I'll probably play a third. Just see how long things are going. Yeah. To be fair, our mono green opponent didn't have the best of hands. Target player. That's a solid name. I love that. Yeah. Yeah, if you have a deck or card that you think, hey, I'd like to see you play with this, do let me know in the comments, and I'll try my best to do that. I've got a few things planned up. I've done most of the. We're slow here. Gigantha. This hand. Our hand plays out like, okay, we're going to make a War Master into an Elite, into a Clank. We have a Nykthos, but it's not necessary. I think we keep it. It's tough because we don't have a one-man accelerant. Without playing Forge of Spirit Sentinels, we're only actually playing the 10 instead of 12. What I was playing before. Okay, Sacrifice. Interesting. With Sacrifice, we might have enough time to... I should play a lot of ways here. This is fine. Oh, I was saying is I played through most of the like decks I had wanting to play like coming out of the Sportathon GT. And then I've got a few things that I've kind of got lined up. And so I think this is uploading after a Gerudo combo video that I put together quite recently. Actually, yeah, I think Gerudo combo should come out on Thursday, and this should come out on Friday or Saturday, I believe. And then I've got a few, which is like Gerudo combo is like more of a fun deck, but very very sweet. And then I've got a few more things planned with like Karuga Fires. I have a Bant Approach list that I've been kind of like tweaking and messing around with. Blue-White Control. Those decks are kind of similar, so I might not end up doing a Blue-White video just because they are like they do look very similar deck-wise. We'll see. We'll see. Also, might do a refresher of what other kind of like artifact aggro decks we played a bit with previously. There's an incentive here to. It's like, do I think they're gonna have? So like they've got a handful of cards. They've used their claim the firstborn. Do I think they have another one? And think I'm. Well, the next, our next turn we're not really going to be looking to play off of the Visionary anyway, so we may as well make the Clan Caller first. That's the way I see it. We'll just do this. Let's see what they've got. They have a ton of mana too, actually. Yeah, I have a few things lined up. Oh no. That might be GG. Alright. I'm gonna set another treasure truck in here, and then they're gonna make a land. Without a little bit of trouble. Because we can't really play anything into this. We can go like Dwynen's Elite, and it makes some 1/1s, at least pressures them a little bit. Then maybe we get to go company on something. The thing is, if we company on their turn, they're gonna probably have enough things up to sacrifice. Also, we have 5 cards on hand, it's very telegraphed. I think I'm happy playing these two out. So Dwynen's Elite's are 2/2s. Also don't want to be caught with like playing one of these like a 1/1 and playing not getting the extra 1/1, which at least makes them force some kind of sacrifice out. They've not shown a Cauldron yet, but we'll see how that goes. I don't love the Fatal Push here. Just because you're like sacrificing to like dome me for one. But I guess if you think that you could go with this turn, it makes perfect sense. Which is maybe what's about to happen. Second Mayhem Devil. Okay, we're on 10. Just depends what the rest of the hand looks like. We're in for some pain though. That's for sure. Okay. Yeah, we're still just not able to. Not really been able to show Nykthos off here. Well, neither games we play there. We actually take 2 to play this, which puts us. Well, they've not shown nothing to sacrifice. They're gonna have to be the mana land. It just depends what they've got in hand. We don't really have anything else we can kind of do to play around it. Okay, fair enough. They have that for the War Master too. We're dead to a lot of things. Oh, for sure, yeah, they could be up the man land. Alright, let's go to game number 2. So, sacrifice is tough, especially on the draw. Especially and very much even more so when they have Mayhem Gerbil. We have a few bits of interaction. We've got the recommendation stages. The shape statue is actually very good. It lets you kind of play through Mayhem level a little bit. In that, excuse me. As you play through it a little bit, in that like each time it's targeting one of your things, you get to draw a card. And then in terms of what we're going to cut here, I just want to cut all the clan callers, and then 2 copies of Twine's Elite. This is the plan. Yeah, they have a bunch of cards that are pretty effective. That's what we're doing. And we're going to do our best to play through this. We have a pretty good start with Elf into Warmaster. We might just be able to get out ahead of them, like being able to set up, which would be great. Witness. What do we draw here? Shamans. Excuse me. Shaman's fine. They will absolutely take the trade if we offer it. Let's not do that. Do they have, like, claim the first one here? Priest is also... actually, Priest is a little tamer. I'm trying to work out if they double block. Look at this through. They double block on the Warmaster? The Priest gives them mana as well, is the thing to remember. Also, they can go like... I don't want to trade the Warmaster for it, but we also don't have... We're not getting it online very soon. I think we just say go? It's an interesting one, actually. A lot of black-red, but... Oh, is this just... Are they just gonna, like, mayhem... Oh, jeez. Alright. Well, then. Oh. A lot of black-red... Like, I was saying... Actually, it was in the, Garuda combo video, but the black-red sacrifice deck... We just take it for damage here. There's a bunch of different ways you can build it. Like, you can play Nykthos, you can not play Nykthos. I've not really seen many versions of the deck playing Priest of the Forgotten Gods. Obviously, it is a card that is very powerful, especially when you're playing, like, Claim the Firstborn main deck. This is, like, basically GG. Especially if they can play another card here using the mana. Let's go Deadly this week. Fair enough. If push, so I can completely clear our board. Yeah, we're kind of done. Alright, alright. I guess our plan is to make a Leaf Crown Druid and hope they have nothing. And to start drawing cards off of it. That's the thing is, if you can have like a Leaf Crown Druid survive in this matchup and you have time to cast spells through it and draw cards, then you can also kind of just let it go over them. But yeah, they just managed to basically clear our board. Tough, tough, tough. They're at least not showing that they have another creature to activate the priest with. So we might actually get to do that. Oh. That's also fair. Need a pretty good draw step here. I'm actually isn't it? I can bottle the treasure, but I'd rather save it for something else. It's just like, do you have time? If I tackle the layer of the Hydra block with the Unlucky Witness, then I just get to look at some cards. This is rough. Do I play this and kill the treasure to have something in play? I think it's almost like force, just so I have something going on. I think it's an untap play land, just like just to start adding out. We're all kinds of bad anyway. But okay. What a D. We'll play another turn cycle. It's basically like we need to draw company to get back into this game, which is the power of collected company. But also the state of the game right now. Alright, down to the bugbear. Yeah, it's like I lose this anyway. I may as well block because I get to just like activate priest, which they might just do here anyway, so they get a card out of it. Then at least because it's in combat, they don't really get to use the mana. This is unfortunate. Yeah. We should stone raining them though. We do get to cast our stone rains. Alright, we'll take one more draw step and then we'll call it, I think. It depends, like they spent last time doing basically nothing. Yep. Harvester. Yep. I'm done. I'm in exit like this. Alright. I just tapped for mana, so never mind. This is all kinds of over anyway. Alright. It was already over, but I did mean to activate the Hydra there to keep the reputation alive. And hopefully draw, I don't know what. Well, no, hopefully draw collected company into something. As it is, we're gonna play another one. We'll play one more. Only 26 minutes. That loss, though embarrassing, did not take very long. Let's get one more match in. Yeah, Elves is one of my kind of like pet decks, Explorer, Pioneer, and Modern. I've played it a fair bit, like at tournaments where I maybe shouldn't have played it, and gone for something a bit more interactive. I do think it is really good. It's better in Explorer than it is in Pioneer, I would say. Given like context to the rest of the format. Especially because I think versus Mono Green it is good right now, and Mono Green is the best deck in the format. It's a weird one where like these creature it's not a combo deck, but it kind of is. But basically like these very very linear strategies are quite good versus Mono Green. And Mono Green is very, very oppressive against the decks that are like so good against the decks that are good against these linear strategies. So, like Elves, really, really strong. Aura is really strong. Citadel, all like excellent versus green. But something like blue white control, Karuga Fires, like black red decks that are just like gonna just like pick you apart. If you're playing like one of these kind of like creature based combat like linear strategies. It turns out are just really really bad versus green. So you have this kind of rock paper scissors, but I think that even the matchups where green is bad, because you have like a card toolbox, because you can do things like you can tune your deck a little bit to play for your play towards some of your weaknesses. I think that green is just better. We finally have a Hammer and Nykthos in. Is great. I'm gonna bomb this Dwynen's Elite just because these cards all sequence well with each other. We'll see how it goes. Alright, Elvish Mystic, go ahead. Yeah, that bit where you get to kind of like tune the mono green deck, you have the card toolbox, makes it what I think that's why I think it's the best deck in the format. Green, that is. Even in its last matchups, you always have like a pretty good chance of winning some games. And you can have silver bullets to grab a card. We have 1, 2, 3 pips right now. That's a lot more. Is there a way we can sequence this? Not really. Maybe we hide the Nykthos. I kind of like that actually. We don't have any good attacks. But next time we could double activate Nykthos. For... Oh. Oh. We'll see. They may go for the Druid. They do not. Okay. That's fair enough. Alright, now we have a bunch of mana. We should find something to do with it. Yeah. It might be activate Flare of the Hydra for a bunch. I actually don't hate that idea. Green, please. Did not need to attack with these. But the logic is that if they're going to take 10, they take 10. And don't block these. Okay, well this is also fine. Should probably not have attacked with this. Okay. The shell block's always going to come with the limit. That was dumb. I'm just me clicking all attack by. I'll own up to that one. That one's on me. That was a silly mistake. And those do happen. Yeah. I'll do this again. I think forcing the shot block's actually super important. The problem... There's so many problems. They're actually chump blocking like this, but they're going to get to sacrifice it to all its bodyguards. They may as well. I like royally messed this up as well. The problem that had me panicking was that this was going to flip over because we're not playing a land. But I've ruined this game. It's not completely lost, but we'll give it to them. So I'm embarrassed. Right. Versus white, we don't have a ton. It's basically just a creature race. Our main deck is about as well kitted out as we're gonna be. It's like if we had some like removal based interaction, like we're playing black, we could potentially play like Fatal Bush on the board. But we're opting not to do that. So we're just gonna roll this all back. I'm trying to think if there's anything. I don't think so. Yeah. We'll run it. We're like half an hour deep into the video. So if you're still watching, you're the reason I'm making content, but you also get to see me punt like that. And so... it is what it is, I guess. Alright. This is an interesting one. I'm going to deal with a bit of an awkward mana position. We'll see how that works out. Our plan is to draw another non-Nykthos land. That is the plan. Making the elite before we go. Okay. Going wide versus white is fine. I actually really need this land on Wrath Alive. Love to be able to offer the trade. Because like we're building out wide and then we're gonna buff up with our lords anyway, momentarily. Also, like before too long, like the Nykthos is just gonna give us 3 mana to forwards. Okay. Now I have this, but I also have the Shaman of the Pack. Think this thing. This Dwynamite is going to get to block. Oh, well, it's potentially going to get to block. Maybe they have Thalas of Tenant here, maybe they have an Illuminate Aspirant. But the likely thing, given what they have on board, is that they go counter here, attack with both, and I can block one of them. We'll see what actually plays out. Like, if they have the Thalas of Tenant, obviously their board's big. And if we want, like, a head on board, I'd maybe consider dumping both of these under one of these. Not really worth it, especially if you have to consider that they might have Brave elements. But Brave also makes you play a bit differently in another way, where you can't rely later on once their creatures are large that you'll be able to block them. Let's see what happens here. Alright. This makes up more straight up mana. That's an interesting one. We're going to do Leaf Crown Druid. And then go it this way. Go Clankcaller, draw a card, activate Nykthos. Because they've not actually been able to push any damage through yet, well, this actually looks okay. Oh, hang on. Black Source takes to 4 mana, down 3. Oh, yeah, it doesn't quite get us there. Activate first. So we're gonna cast the company first. These two. Incentivized to go wide because we have the Shaman in the pack in hand. We'll draw here. I'll put them down at 10. You have the mana. May as well draw again. And we'll swing with these. Because they've not been able to push your damage through yet, they didn't make any attacks last turn. They can't. If they had, they'd been able to threaten to take this out, or take like one of these and then retaliate with some kind of like Brave Element play to push through our blockers. Alas, that's not the case. Maybe we can make good on this, despite me punting game 1. We're gonna go for it anyway. We shall see. We shall see. Solid. It looks like they may be mulliganed. I'm not 100% sure. I heard cards click around, but yeah, they did. Oh, they went down to 5. Okay. We're gonna kind of just do our thing here. Make Dream Druid and then go like dump our lords out, draw some cards. So you don't actually have one of our kind of like win the game payoffs here, which is the only concern. See, they kept a 5-card hand. It does have a second land, so we do the game. If no second land, then it's just kind of as. Alright. We're asked that if we make the Circle of Dreams Druid and hope they don't have land Brutal Cathar. As is the hope. Mutavault. Okay, Portable Hole isn't as problematic. It is annoying, for sure. Okay. No blocks. We have here. Okay, that's good. Play this on green. I mean, it means it means our sequencing so quick because we lost our elf. But it does mean we can go kind of faster. So with War Master here and them stumbling, it makes sense to just get all the mana in play and just be able to throw in a War Master kill next. Not this turn coming, but the next turn. That being said, if they have, I was gonna say if their Mutavault plan is like actually Mutavault play the Earth of Tenant, then we might actually be more trouble than I bargained for. I'm a shock here. Our plan is to go. Okay. They realizing you're supposed to play, I guess. Our plan here is to basically go Leaf Crown Visionary and then just start. This turn we can take to draw all the cards, because next time we're guaranteed to have the mana to activate War Master with all elves in play and just be able to attack lethal. That is it. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Sorry for the punt there in game 1 of that final match. But if you have enjoyed the video, and you like Explore stuff, then please do subscribe to the channel, potentially like the video. If you got a deck you want to see me play, let me know in the comments. Other than that, happy holidays. Again, thanks for watching. Hope you get a good break, and all the best to you and yours this holiday season. Peace out.